How important is sort of the sexiness of your personal brand and, oh my gosh, I get to work with Neil Patel, to recruiting these people out of a safe, secure job they've been at for 4 or 5 years?
Believe it or not, that doesn't help too much. What helps more than anything is growth in the company and potential future upside. When you're recruiting these people, they want to know numbers. What are your revenue? What's your profitability? What's your growth rate? Things like that really help get people over. The other thing too is explaining the culture, how it's fun, all the different perks, why people love working here. That kind of stuff really wins people over versus just being this standard Me Too company. Hey, we're Microsoft, we can pay more money. Well, a lot of times people don't want to work at this company where they can't do what they want.
Do you feel like you have a real, as Warren Buffett would say, moat or competitive advantage because your team is remote and you can hire anywhere? And if so, can you try and quantify that advantage?
I don't think hiring remote is a moat. And the reason being is everyone's doing it these days. The one thing I will tell you is you get better talent. Keep in mind, they're not cheaper. For example, in Uruguay, believe it or not, our pod of people there, we pay $90 an hour.
Neil, when you first started getting into the content game, focusing on one channel and one type of content, written versus video versus audio, whatever, what was that one format and what medium did you publish through?
Written, my own website, WordPress, or you can pick any platform. Because unlike video usually gets you that quick burst, social gets you that quick burst, paid ads gets you that quick burst. Organic content gets you consistent traffic through SEO in the long run. And even if you slow down on marketing or something happens with the environment like COVID or your marketing budgets get cut, you can still get consistent traffic and generate consistent revenue without continually pouring in more money.
One of the things I'm super curious about to hear from you is you're seeing a lot of these brands and they're using the media brand or the agency to sort of pump out software products and grow them and then sell them and do it over and over again. So they would never sell the agency because that's the golden goose.
I think a lot of these industries are very old school. And what I mean by that is agencies have been running the same way for 20, 30 years and they don't have any creativity. But the thing that you look at with software companies is CAC is going up, right? Which is cost to acquire a customer. And if you look at that year over year, it's increasing, but yet the amount of money that people are paying you for software or even services isn't going up at that same portion. So the way I look at it is all these models are broken. I'm creating software and saying, hey, I'm just gonna give away more for free. And people look at me that I'm really stupid and dumb for that. But if you looked at the growth I'm getting from giving stuff away for free, it's cheaper than spending that money on marketing.
That's part of your art, Neil, right? Is knowing where to Google and Googling enough to find these sort of opportunities.
It's not even that. The art is, if you look at most venture-backed companies and most entrepreneurs, they don't have the stomach to burn a lot of money without knowing what the potential ROI is in the future. Because there's no formula for me to say, this is what my ROI is. With email, our internal budget is to burn 500 grand a month for a year. So $6 million bucks, and letting users send free emails. That's a lot of money. Right? We may not burn it. We may burn it. We may get other people to drive us users and pay them for $10 for every user that they drive us that's active or something like that, right?
But is it at least clear whatever the brand is, the search term, the intent of that brand search is leading towards something that could one day be a software solution?
Correct.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to take that bet. And I go as far as I look for this brand that already is a software solution, just a bad one. So the intent is already there. And I look for competitors already making a lot of money in the space. So all you have to do is fix up something that's ugly. So if something's making zero or very little money, but it has the same amount of traffic as something that's making 40, 50, 100, 200 million, and they're paying for the advertising, my model is you buy the one for cheap, you fix it up, and eventually you can monetize it. You may not make as much as that big competitor because you're charging for less of the features, hence you have that traffic. But even if you make a fraction of what they do, the numbers work out because your CAC is way better. It's a much more efficient company.
There's a lot of people arguing today that capital is now not the scarce resource attention is. Right? When you're running a political campaign, you have $1 billion to spend, but you can still lose. Capital is available, but the people who win are the ones that can capture attention. Do you agree with that statement? And if so, how are you positioning yourself to capture more attention to drive growth in your ad agency and software business?
I 100% agree with that. I was on a presentation earlier today with the guy who's doing growth for like Segment and companies like that. And he was telling me my moat was cash. And I'm like, cash isn't a moat. in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong, but anyone can go and raise money. The moat to me is I have a visitor base of 9 to 10 million people reading my website, right? So I have people who are loyal to my brand. To me, that's the real moat, because no matter how much money you have, you can go get funded by SoftBank. Doesn't mean you can go create a brand out of scratch. Some people love Gary Vee, some people hate him. I love him to death. I think his content's amazing. You go look at Gary Vee, I don't care how much money you have, you can't dump in $10 million and magically go create another Gary Vee. It doesn't work like that.
I think you're going to see a lot of these enterprise brands get into this attention game. You're going to see way more people launching their own books, their own podcasts, many of which are boring as heck. But the ones that understand how to create open loops and hire psychologists and storytellers who are being laid off in Hollywood right now, like reality show TV producers for their B2B SaaS brands, I think that to me is where there's significant leverage over the next decade.